Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Good afternoon, everyone. I had to get an ice cold Coke Zero. What's up, everybody? Oh my God, I'm so zoomed in. Let me know how you like the angle today. Welcome to J is for Justice. My name is Jay. I'm your host. We're here for the update on this Danelo Cavalcante. Cavalcante. I don't know if they've caught this wascally wabbit yet or not, but I guess we're going to find out. Feels like some Looney Tunes shits out there. I'm really not joking about this. Seriously, this guy needs to get caught. He is a dangerous person. And I definitely, when they say he's coming south, I don't want his ass down here. We don't want him in Florida. Me and all my gray hairs, we don't want him here. He can stay there and be deported right back where he came from. I know they don't want him, but we don't want him neither. So while we wait for this to start, we've got roughly a minute before it looks like they're going to go live. So my thing is this. Why did we, and is this the regular process? I'm not, and hello, Facebook. I'm on Facebook today too. What is the regular process for people that are here illegally? He was here on an illegal passport or visa or something. So what is the process when someone who's here illegally commits a crime and they're prosecuted and they are sentenced? Do we just say, oh, what the hey? We're just going to have taxpayers foot the bill for this guy to have 3 squares and a roof over his head for the rest of his life? Or do we send them back to where they came from? I feel like we need to send them back where they came from. Why did we even use taxpayer money on this dude? I'm maybe I got the whole process wrong, but this is what has been going through my mind about this. Angie B says he got away again. I heard that was earlier though. Big shocker that nothing happened last night either. Unbelievable. So it's just like, did they not know he was here illegally? How could they not? Extradition treaty? Meaning what? We can't send him back? Wait. Diana HB, does that mean if they manage to get here that we can't send him back? Even though he's wanted there? Mikey likes it. We think the same. He said, I was wondering this too. Why even prosecute if there's not a death penalty? Just deport them. Any other sentence would mean he gets to stay here for life. Right. And we know that the Brazilian jails are utter hell. And like our jails, he gets a TV and a tablet and all this bullshit. Reload? That's a bad joke. That was a bad joke. I didn't laugh at that. So we're just waiting for this to start. Hello, globalisms.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Looks like we're getting ready to start. And we've got Summer Rue on the doggy cam. Here we go. Oh my God, we're all at the very back again. But we are live, and we don't have audio yet. They need to turn on the audio.
To provide the media and the public an opportunity for some insight of the scope of the operation that we've put in place.
No screens
Following the
today.
press conference today, I'll provide you all details of how we can make that happen. As a reminder, we're asking the public's help by familiarizing themselves with the photograph and description of Cavalcante.
They don't know where he is.
To check security cameras they have, and to call us immediately if they believe they may have seen him.
Oh.
Again, we ask residents to please secure homes, outbuildings, and vehicles. Cavalcante has clearly already obtained some clothing and other unknown supplies, and we want to minimize any opportunity that he might have to get anything more. It is very important we keep the pressure on him as we continue this hunt.
The pressure, what does that mean? Get
Cavalcante
JLR
is
out
considered
there?
extremely dangerous, and there is a reward excuse me, of up to $20,000 offered for information leading to the capture of Cavalcante. Anyone with information is asked to call our tip line at 717-562-2987. 717-562-2987.
867-5309.
I continue to thank the community for their support and for allowing us the latitude to do our jobs while they deal with what I know are extremely stressful circumstances. We appreciate you all more than you know. And I wanted to also, because we've had a number of inquiries, I mentioned an injury to one of our tactical dogs the other day.
Oh, yeah, give us an update.
And I wanted to provide you all just a brief update. He is doing well, has been released from the hospital earlier today, and is expected to make a full recovery and return to work within the next week.
You're damn
And with
lucky.
that, we will be happy to take any questions that you might have.
Can you provide some details of the Longwood Gardens event? We saw the helicopter drop very low right off the deck and seemed to try to spread the underbrush.
So an individual reported that that he had seen someone matching that description, and he provided us a location that he had seen them running through that area, and so searchers have gone to that area. We're using people on foot. We have horses out there as well that are assisting with the search, tactical teams, and of course the aviation assets that you mentioned.
How big is that area? How close is this search to that trail camera location?
It's not very far from that location.
Which schools were removed from the search zone?
That was the Greenwood Elementary and Chadds Ford Elementary.
So how big is this radius now that we're looking at? I mean, initially it started within that 2-mile radius, then it moved to Longwood, then it was sort of east. Can you give us just an exact distance?
How big is the radius is the
Yes,
question.
so it's about an 8 to 10 square mile area that we're looking at right now. It's a couple of miles across, but the total mileage would be about 8 to 10 square miles.
Square miles!
Where's the outside of it?
Is there any validity that he was actually at Walmart in East Marble Township? There was reported sightings there.
I'm aware of that report, and we do not believe that was him.
And given the newly released footage yesterday of his escape, and he is so agile, has law enforcement been looking up in trees and the foliage? Have you all been looking in the stormwater management within these neighborhoods? And then also, have you been going door to door in various neighborhoods for welfare checks?
Yes, to all of those. It's been a very thorough search.
Carol, do you have a strategy for preventing him from escaping via the Brandy Line Creek, which runs all the way to the Delaware River?
We do.
Can you elaborate?
No, we can't.
No.
Colonel, what time was the sighting near Longwood reported?
Just before noon.
Today?
Yes.
Colonel, do you still believe he's within this 8 to 10 mile perimeter that you've set out?
I have every reason to believe he is still within that perimeter, yes, sir.
Can you tell us why you have every reason to believe so?
We have had no sightings outside of that area. We have maintained as secure a perimeter as we possibly could. And then as recently as today, we have another reported sighting.
What are the current sides of your perimeter?
So it is bordered on the north by 926 on the east by 100 or Creek Road, on the south by Hillendale, and on the west by 52.
Colonel, how much bigger is this perimeter today than, say, last Friday?
It is larger. I couldn't tell you what the difference in size is, though, off the top of my head.
But this is the same as yesterday, right?
It is.
Colonel, is there any evidence that he has obtained a weapon? Anything new
8
on
to
that?
10 square miles.
I do not have any evidence to that effect, sir.
With the mushroom with the mushroom.
What- I'm sorry,
with the
just-
mushroom
just-
festival returning this
I'm
weekend.
sorry, just a minute, ma'am.
You mentioned the heat. We obviously know it had an effect on the canine officer. Is there any truth that the heat may have impacted thermal cameras at the prison that may have been heated or not have been working at the time of Cavalcante's escape?
I couldn't speak to what effect anything would have on the cameras at the prison.
Can you talk about the
And-
effect on the, can you talk about the effect on the law enforcement members on the ground?
Isn't 8 square miles 64?
Oh, it makes it very
square
challenging.
feet?
Certainly, all of you have been out in this weather, high temperatures, high humidity. They're
Noon
wearing,
today, Texas.
uniforms with bullet-resistant vests, carrying a lot of equipment. It certainly adds to the challenge. With that said, I have not heard a single complaint, and I believe our people are up to the task. But
Do they get some break time, cool down time?
No,
break?
they don't.
if someone needs it, we absolutely get them some rest. But typically, what we've been doing
Everybody
is we're
but the dogs.
transporting fluids, food, those kinds of things to sustain them and keep them well hydrated out to their locations. Sorry, ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much. 2 questions here. The Mushroom Festival returns for the 28th year in Kennett Square, which is a couple miles from East Marble, Longwood Gardens. The Mushroom Festival will return as planned. Our law enforcement, state agencies, federal agencies working very closely with local police to ensure that the escapees will
and
not
keep-
go towards the borough, because some people are planning not to attend this year due to the escaped convict, even though he has not been spotted there. So any thoughts on that?
Well, we're working very hard to capture the escaped convict and not allow him to go anywhere.
And then last
But along with that, yes, we are well aware of that festival, and we are working with authorities, a number of authorities, law enforcement, emergency management, and so forth, to try and make sure that people feel very safe at that festival.
Yeah, and last question, in terms of how technology has changed from 1999 when Norman Johnson escaped, he was here for about 3 weeks in Chester County, again back in 1999. How has technology changed in
99?
supporting your efforts to find him? Any thoughts on that?
As with your cell phone, it's changed dramatically in that amount of time. And so we take advantage of some of the latest state-of-the-art options that are available. And so when I've mentioned here before, we use a wide array of technology. We have a number of federal partners here with us that I've talked about previously. All of the assets of all of our agencies are brought to bear.
If North Creek Road is the eastern perimeter, how did you decide to remove Chatsford Elementary School from the search area?
We carved it out by putting additional officers around there. We cleared that property and then put
So they
officers
could get the
around it
kids
so that we
back-
could carve that piece out.
Carve
The
it.
property at the school?
Yes, sir.
They
Colonel,
carved
this is
out the school.
Another prisoner escaped.
I wouldn't want my kids there,
from
just
Warren
saying.
County,
Yes.
and was found some days later hiding out in the woods. So it seems like there's sort of a parallel to be drawn here between the 2 different types of manhunts. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on how that situation compared to the search now, and if there are sort of like differences between the 2 that explains challenge that you're experiencing here.
And those are 2 of the more recent, this one and that are 2 of the more recent examples that we've had. There are similarities between any situation for a manhunt like this. So we try to learn something from each of those incidents that we handle, take from that how to run a smoother operation. Our partners, in many cases, are the same. In fact, some of the people that are here from the federal agencies are some of the same teams and resources. I was on the Warren County search as well. So there's some of the same resources. Again, all of us take lessons learned from it. We adapt those to the different circumstances we find. And, there are different challenges with every particular search. If we moved 20 miles down the road, there would perhaps be some different challenges than what we have here. We would adjust to those. Yes, sir.
There's been some speculation in the media that the heat-seeking technology, thermal imaging technology that you use is not working because it's so high. Is that correct? Is it Is all the technology you're using in that regard working the way it should because of the heat?
It is.
It is. There's no
Weather can
detrimental effect.
weather can certainly have an impact on it, but it does not take that technology out of the game at all. At times, to use the example of thermal imaging, you can get some additional hot spots, rocks, different things like that can cause a hot spot, but it requires you to check a few more things, but it does not diminish our desire to use it.
Lieutenant, are you concerned?
No, weather
that he's
concern-
growing more desperate and yet more dangerous? The time that he spends out in this weather and being hunted by you?
I believe he becomes more desperate. I believe he has always been very dangerous, and I've said that from the start. He's already murdered 2 people, one in Brazil and one here, in a very brutal manner. He's a very dangerous individual, and he remains so.
But
Is this the eighth confirmed sighting, or are there more? And can you kind of walk us through those 8? Because it seems like he's going back and forth, or are we out of order on the sighting numbers?
I don't have all of those other sightings here in front of me, but I can get that for you, and we can talk about it another time. But yes,
But 8 is correct?
Yes, sir, it would be 8.
What about homes? We know you've checked some homes before. Are you going back and rechecking homes? And if nobody's home, what are you doing? Are you checking with relatives just to make sure he's not in there?
We are checking homes. We are talking to neighbors if we don't find somebody at that home, and then each one is handled on an individual basis. We typically can check, tax records, county records, to try and find an owner if we're just completely unsuccessful. But the biggest thing we look for immediately while we're there is any sign at all of forced entry. And we have found some open homes, and in those cases we try to obtain permission. Otherwise, through exigent circumstances, we can at least make sure that that home is not occupied by
Is there
him.
indication that he's gotten into any of these homes? I mean, we've had people contact us saying they believe things have been taken or moved. On your end?
I have not been able to confirm a single case to this point. It doesn't mean he hasn't, but I have not been able to confirm a single
The
case.
family that said he
going
was
at this point?
downstairs when they were upstairs. The family that said that he flipped
Yes.
the lights.
Yes.
That's not a confirmed, entry.
I don't doubt that someone was down there. I cannot confirm that it was him.
So that doesn't count in your 8?
Have additional special forces arrived, sir?
We have had tactical teams from all over the country come in and continue to come in. We have some additional resources that are arriving today, and part of the team arrived yesterday and will arrive today, and will become operational by tomorrow. So one of the things when I talk about
tomorrow?
After the press conference, being able to give you some additional insight of how we can do this, we'll have an opportunity to talk about some of those teams tomorrow.
It's great they
give you
carved out
some
the
idea.
elementary
I think,
school in the meantime.
and I'll come back to some of your questions here in a minute, but I think what I would like you all to see is that there is an amazing operation going on here. There's a collaboration between local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. This is not simply a situation where we have a police dispatcher sitting and taking a call and dispatching a police car to go and follow this up. It is a very sophisticated, well-staffed operation that I believe, again, when you have an opportunity to see some of that, there are some portions, obviously, that I can't show you everything, but I think you would have an opportunity to see enough of it to truly come away with an understanding of the effort that is being made to ensure that we end this as quickly as possible, to ensure the safety of the community. We absolutely understand their concern. I get it as a parent, why other parents are concerned about their children going to school, playing in the yard, all of those kinds of things. Again, having been involved in a number of these searches, it is the same with every one of those, and we want to end this as quickly as possible. We'll throw every available resource at it to do
Do you
it.
still have a sense
Ma'am.
of
Your confidence knowing that he's going back and forth from the same places again and again, what does that do to bolster some morale out here that does it?
The morale.
What does that mean?
Their
for
morale's in the
your
toilet.
engagement here?
Hi, Jeff.
There is no impact on morale, as I said a few minutes ago. I have yet to hear a single complaint. I interact with our people. We have shift changes where we brief out, outgoing troopers and officers. the morale
Oh,
is
Mikey.
high. And I talk to them when they come in after a lengthy shift and working in these conditions. Morale remains high. These are people who are volunteering to come here, many from out of the area, who are volunteering. Now, in the case of state police, they're being paid. So I don't mean it to sound as though they're just volunteers, but they are asking their commanders to send them here. That's how high the morale
Any
is.
sense of where he's going now, and then can you confirm that there was
Reverse
no
Spider-Man
at the
show.
prison as it related to any heat that may have impacted any of the cameras or technology there that could have aided in his escape?
I cannot speak again to the technology at the prison. That is not my focus at this point in time.
Where's the warden?
My focus is on capturing him. There is an ongoing investigation there that I'm sure will reveal if there was any kind of a failure, or whether it was a failure of an individual or a group of individuals. That will all be determined and acted on appropriately. But for right now, again, the priority for me and our focus is on getting him back into custody.
Well, you do have a sense of where he's going then?
I have some ideas. Again, I can't get inside his head. I wish I could. I wish I could go right to where he is. So we
Profiler
use
can.
our experience.
For God's
We use
sakes.
the information that's available to us, and then we also use any number of different techniques to try and push him, to try and get him to make a mistake, and to detect that mistake when it occurs.
Was there a search of the
Just one second, the gentleman back there.
Can you explain why you can't just have this perimeter and then squeeze in and get him? Obviously, it's not that simple, or you would have done it, but
Yes.
why doesn't that work?
For a number of reasons, it doesn't work. First of all, it's not just a perfect open piece of land that you can just march through. You've got businesses, residences,
carved out the
highways,
elementary school, for fuck's
hills,
sake.
valleys, wooded areas that can't be pushed through. The number of people that it would take to contain that area and be able to walk shoulder to shoulder through that area and squeeze, and the amount of time that it would take, it's just simply not realistic to do that. If we were talking about, one city block or something like that, it would be a different story. It's just too large of an area to be able to squeeze in and push like that.
Yes, Lieutenant Colonel, could you provide an estimate as to how many personnel are currently at Longwood Gardens trying to track this guy down right now? And what tactics and what technology is being used at Longwood Gardens?
Off the top of my head, I couldn't speculate. It'd be a large number of people. We don't break the perimeter, so we're not moving every single person there. We want to keep the perimeter secure
how do
while
you
we
carve
move
out a
response
school?
teams there. And so I mentioned, tactical teams, aviation, mounted detail, some other foot searchers besides the tactical teams, canines. All of that is brought to bear in terms of the specific number. I couldn't give that to you off the top of my head.
Can you just confirm the account of the man who says he
Welcome,
broke
Carrie.
into his house?
I'm sorry?
There was a report of the man that says that
Yes.
he broke into his house,
Mhm.
and also whether he's using bloodhounds.
I can't understand anything he just said.
We are using tracking dogs, and yes, I believe the account that someone broke in. I'm saying I can't conclusively prove that it was him.
Has he left any traces that you have found? Traces of anything? Traces of clothing, food, like the one in Western Pennsylvania, campsites? Has he left any traces at all?
We have not recovered anything that I can conclusively say was his at this point.
Lieutenant Colonel, there was a lot of speculation yesterday about his training as a survivalist. A few years back, you led the search for Eric Frein in the Poconos. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between that search, which went on for about 48 days, and the search you're currently uptaking?
48 days, one went
Again,
on.
as I said earlier, there are a lot of similarities between any of these searches. The difference there was the level of violence. We knew Frein was armed, and so both very violent individuals, very dangerous individuals. The difference is with Frein, you're hunting for a person with a rifle that will penetrate the body armor of any of the officers that are out there, and did penetrate the body armor of the corporal that he killed. And so it brings a different dynamic to that
guy killed a
search.
corporal?
But there are a lot of similarities in the search as well. And again, that's where I tell you that we try to take lessons from all of those and bring those to the next job.
So Longwood Gardens is west of 52. Is that outside your perimeter? And I believe today was the first day it was open. Was it
Yes,
open?
Longwood Gardens proper is out there. They have additional property that is within the perimeter, and it's in the vicinity of that. that I'm speaking.
And was that area was not open to the public today because it was inside the perimeter?
I can't speak to whether Longwood Gardens had that piece open or not. There wasn't anybody in there.
But the kids are in elementary?
Not all Longwood Gardens is in the perimeter, correct?
Correct.
Do you still have men searching at night?
Yes.
Lieutenant, this is a question maybe for the district attorney or the chief. Neighbors adjacent to the prison spoke to us today about their concerns for their safety, not the first time that someone escaped from the prison, but now the second time. They are curious about alerts. In May, they're on record today saying that in May, there was no siren, there was no warning. I know you don't speak for the county, but as the chief law enforcement officer for Chester County, how can you assure these neighbors that they're not everyone for themselves out there on their properties?
So I understand that alerts do go out. The first prison escape in May, he was captured within 5 minutes, is my understanding. So I don't even know if there was a time for an alert to go out, but I don't know that information conclusively. They are sending out alerts repeatedly through reverse 911 calls, and they keep expanding the perimeter and the radius to where they send those locations or those notifications. So they are on high alert, and those communities that are affected immediately are alerted right away. So I know that the time frame is very rapid from when they are alerted and until when they have an incident.
Concerned though that, I mean, I know it's under investigation, but this is supposed to be a facility that holds in these dangerous people. This guy is convicted of murder.
Absolutely. You know, this is an outrage. This should have never happened. You know that I was the prosecutor who was assigned to this case, and I helped convict this man, and he was sentenced to life without parole. We're all upset. We're all concerned, and there will be a thorough investigation, and that will be made public at some point.
District Attorney Ryan, can you speak to the victim of Deborah for a moment and her family? And I'm assuming
Yeah, how about how sorry we are to Deborah's family for being...
They do have protection, and they are terrified. They haven't left their home. They're barricaded inside and very concerned about their safety. We do have police detail around them 24 hours a day.
You better.
And I know they're very, very worried.
Ms. Ryan, when he's caught, do you send him back to Chester County Prison?
He will not be going back to Chester County Prison.
And when captured, what charges might he
He'll be going to the morgue.
What does this bring from a criminal liability?
He's charged with escape right now. That's a felony.
Where will he go if not to Chester County Prison?
He'll go to a state correctional institution.
How about Brazil?
He was sentenced to.
He hadn't been assigned to anyone yet. He was on the way to Smithfield to be assigned to another location.
How long had he been waiting?
This was already asked, but will you all release the video of the keeper of Bolt escape?
No, we're not focusing on that right now. Our primary mission is to get this guy in custody. That's where all of our attention is focused at this moment.
Ms. Ryan, did your office answer the motion seeking a retrial or a resentencing for this defendant, Mr. Cavalcante? Did you? I know the judge denied, but did your office have a response to their pursuing a new trial?
We did not respond. The judge decided that on his own. Yes.
Just a follow-up question for Lieutenant Colonel Bivens. We've talked to someone who has taken it upon himself to enter into wooded areas and look for Cavalcante. Obviously, this is someone who believes they're vigilante.
Someone's in the woods
What is
looking
your
for him?
message to
What's your
people
message to
who
people
may
like
think
that?
They would be empowered to do such things?
First of all, they have no authority other than that of a private citizen to do it. They are risking drawing away law enforcement resources because someone else may see them and report them, and we end up having to go investigate that and draw resources away. So I would ask them not to do it. I can't prevent them from doing it, but they have no authority and run the risk of, depending on what action they take, getting themselves in trouble.
Just to confirm that, so the most recent sighting you said was at Longwood Gardens, but it's not Longwood Gardens?
No, I said it was in the vicinity. It was near Longwood
In
Gardens.
the vicinity.
Yes.
In the vicinity of the property, that's not the primary Longwood Gardens property?
Yes.
Additional that's in the search area?
Yes, sir.
Is it Longwood Gardens property or near Longwood Gardens?
I don't know, sir. I wasn't out there personally on that one. It was in that vicinity. I just know where the report was.
You
and
should
it was
know
very
everything,
close to where
Chief
the camera was,
or Sheriff.
which was on Longwood Gardens
Lieutenant
property.
Colonel, what would you say to those who say that he's winning right now? It's 8 days, he's up against hundreds of your people.
Ooh, they don't
He's
like to
got
hear that.
technology, he's got barely nothing to eat, and you can't catch him. He's winning so far, not you.
Well, we've chased people for a lot longer than this and ultimately brought them to justice. As I've said before, we're not going anywhere. We will eventually capture him, and when we do, he's going to prison. I don't consider that winning.
There were some neighbors near the area where he was spotted by the creek who were concerned that bloodhounds weren't being used and that the scent may have been anyway lost in the creek itself. Are bloodhounds part of what you're using to try to track?
I don't have bloodhounds at this particular scene, but I've got other tracking dogs that we have confidence in and I'm told can perform in a very similar manner.
It's wooded.
And by the way, we have them from a number of agencies as well.
Just to clarify, so the heat isn't impacting any of the tech that you're using to search for him day and night?
Correct.
Is there any reason, I asked this yesterday, I asked the same question, is there any reason to believe he's getting or gotten help from anyone outside of jail?
Any reason to believe he's getting help?
It's something that I am always concerned about, but I'm not prepared to discuss that in any further detail at this point. We are always looking for that, and we continue to look for that, because even if it doesn't happen at the beginning, it sometimes can happen at a later point in the hunt, and so it's something we're always aware of, but I'm not prepared to discuss it any
There was a
further.
report that there was a train stopped and searched in the Route 1 area. Don't you think that?
There was a train that was stopped there. The railroads have been cooperative with us for the most part. Well, what they've been doing is stopping at their normal stop, and we can utilize others for surveillance to make sure that no one else boards the train, so that we don't disrupt the train
Do you know
traffic.
when that stop occurred?
No, I don't. There have been a number of trains over the last several days.
You just said there was one!
Does he have relatives in, this was brought up yesterday, and I don't remember what the answer was. Does he have relatives in Maryland who he may be trying to get to? That's one thing I've heard, but.
Does he have relatives in Maryland?
Speculation. Does he have relatives in Maryland? Does he have relatives near here who he's been trying to get to? Can you tell us anything about whether you've talked to them?
He has relatives in the general area here.
What?
Offhand, I'm not familiar with anyone in Maryland. If he's trying to get to those, I wouldn't be able to
He's got relatives
tell
in the
you that
vicinity?
at this point.
Have you spoken to them? Have you tried to get cooperation from them?
We have spoken to relatives, and I can't go any further than that.
Yesterday you said something about, you still believe he's heading south, but you couldn't elaborate on that. Can you go further today?
No.
Oh my God.
Okay. All right. Again, thank you very much
That's it?
for your help in getting this word out, keeping
What
the public
word?
informed, and we'll talk afterward here about tomorrow. Okay? Thank you.
Wow, this is absolutely baffling. I didn't think they had him in custody, but I didn't think they were going to be like this. So I have a couple questions. Jay's mind is reeling right now, so I'm not going to read chat because you know how it distracts me. But I got a couple things swirling around in my brain. First one is, what's this business with carving out the elementary? So the question was, I took notes during this shiz. The question was, the schools that are not in the perimeter anymore, how did you eliminate the schools from the perimeter that was in place yesterday? And the answer was basically not verbatim, but that they carved out the elementary school. So basically, it's like someone said, like you're cutting a pie. You have the perimeter, and then they wanted those kids to be in school. I would send my kid to school there. Are you kidding? There is no way my kid would be going to a carved out elementary. So Boston Carver Elementary, he says it's protected with extra officers because they asked for clarification. They said, what do you mean by you carved out Longwood Elementary? Now, mind you, the Longwood Botanical Garden place isn't even open. But they carved out, right, the elementary school. This is bothersome to me. This is bothersome to me. These are our children, and I hate when they play games with our children. So they said they carved it out of the perimeter and they added extra officers there. So he said, we cleared that area and we were able to carve it out and open up the school. That's what he said. And Colonel Sanders, that is so funny. Okay, and then the other thing is, all right, you know how they keep saying, oh, it's so wooded, it's so wooded. They can't see anything because the trees. Isn't it wooded in Hawkins County, Tennessee? He carved it out though, Potato. He took like a potato peeler and he carved that little black piece of the potato out. He just carved it out and just put the kids right in the school today. I'll play it again. I'll play the carving part again because it's disturbing to me. Let me see if I can find it. Is this it?
Again, when you have an opportunity to see some of that, there are some portions, obviously, that I can't show you everything, but I think you would have an opportunity to see enough of it to truly come away with an understanding of the effort that is being made to ensure that we end this as quickly as possible, to ensure the safety of the community. We absolutely understand their concern. I get it as a parent, why going on here. There's a collaboration between local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. This is not simply a situation where we have a police dispatcher sitting and taking a call and dispatching a police car to go and follow this up. It is a very sophisticated, well-staffed operation that I believe, again, when you have an opportunity to see some of that, there are some portions, obviously, that I can't show you everything, but I think you would have an opportunity to see enough of it to truly come away with an understanding of the effort that is being made to ensure that we end this as quickly as possible, to ensure the safety of the community. We absolutely
that there was no equipment failure at the prison as it related to any heat.
These conditions.
I don't remember what point in the press conference he said that.
For a number of reasons, it doesn't work. First of all, it's not just a perfect open people that it would, and the amount of time that it would.
I think it was more towards the beginning. So here's the part about the sighting at noon. Let's listen to that.
We saw the helicopter drop very low right off the deck and seemed to try to spread the underbrush.
So an individual reported that that he had seen someone matching that description, and he provided us a location that he had seen them running through that area, and so searchers have gone to that area. We're using people on foot. We have horses out there as well that are assisting with the search, tactical teams, and of course the aviation assets that you mentioned.
How close is this search to that trail camera location?
It's not very far from that location.
Which schools were removed from the search?
Here it is.
That was the Greenwood Elementary and Chadds Ford Elementary.
So how big is this radius now that we're looking at? I mean, initially it started within that 2-mile radius.
Okay, so those are the two, Chad Ford and, hold on, I gotta go back. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, totally. It's about state funding. It's totally, they missed way too many days. So they carved the shit out. I hate saying that, but my God, does it make me upset? Upset. What is going on?
Ford, I'm aware of that report, and it's about an 8 to 10 square mile area that we're looking at right now. It's a couple of miles across, but the total mileage would.
Okay, so it's 8 square miles total. 8 to 10 square miles total that they're searching. And they carved the elementary out of that 8 to 10 square. Why don't they just start a grid, like shoulder to shoulder? Can they not do that? They do that when they're looking for bodies. Are they too afraid to go in and look for one man? like 100 of them versus one with weapons. I mean, I fail to understand if they have a perimeter blocked off, why they're not shrinking it, why they're making it bigger. The fact they're making it bigger makes me feel like they don't know where the fuck he is.
It'd be about 8 to 10 square miles.
Is there any
What is the outside of
validity,
it?
is there any validity that he was actually at Walmart in East Marble Township? There was reported sightings there.
I'm aware of that report, and we
Walmart.
do not believe that was him.
Do you have
And
a
given,
strategy?
and given the newly released footage yesterday of his escape, and he is so agile, has law enforcement been looking up in trees and the foliage? Have you all been looking in the stormwater management within these neighborhoods?
Looking in the trees.
And also, have you been going door to door in various neighborhoods for welfare checks?
Yes to all of those. It's been a very thorough search.
Do you have a strategy for preventing him from escaping via Brandywine Creek, which runs all the way to the Delaware River?
We do.
Can you elaborate on that?
No.
Colonel, what time was the sighting here Longwood reported?
Just before noon.
So that was just before noon today. Let's see. Do they tell us where that's at? I hate when my YouTube does this to me.
I do not have any evidence to that effect, sir.
With the mushroom
I'm sorry, just-
festival returning this weekend.
I'm sorry, just a minute, ma'am.
You mentioned the heat. We obviously know it had an effect on the canine officer. Is there any truth that the heat may have impacted thermal cameras at the prison that may have been heated or not have been working at the time of Cavalcante's escape?
I couldn't speak to what effect anything would have on the cameras at the prison.
Can you talk about the effect on the, law enforcement members on the ground with the heat?
I am looking for that part. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Right here. 1935.
Elementary school from the search area.
We carved it out by putting additional,
Okay, here we go.
as with your cell phone, it's changed
found it.
dramatically in that amount of time. And so we take advantage of some of the latest state-of-the-art options that are available. And so when I've mentioned here before, we use a wide array of technology. We have a number of federal partners here with us that I've talked about previously.
Thank you,
All
Linda.
of the assets of all of our agencies are brought to bear.
If Mud Creek Road is the eastern perimeter, how did you decide to remove Chatsford Elementary School from the search area?
We carved it out by putting additional officers around there. We cleared that property and then put officers around it so that we could carve that piece out.
Did you hear it? Carve it out like you're carving a turkey on Thanksgiving. What? I want to know how many kids actually went to school.
We cleared that property and then
I am
of
bothered
technology.
by this.
We have a number of federal partners here with us that I've talked about previously. All of the assets of all of our agencies are brought to bear.
Hey,
If Mud Creek
Cooter.
Road is the eastern perimeter, how did you decide to remove Chatsford Elementary School from the search area?
We carved it out by putting additional officers around there. We cleared that property and then put officers around it so that we could carve that piece out.
The property at the school?
Yes, sir.
Colonel, as you know, another prisoner.
Did I ask them to do that?
Here from Warren County.
Yes.
who was found some days later hiding out in the woods. So it seems like there's sort of a parallel to be drawn here between the two different types of manhunts. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on how that situation compared to the search.
I love your name too, Cooter.
If there are sort of like differences between the two. that
Oh,
explain,
just so you guys know.
challenges
It's Circle K ibuprofen.
You know, and those are two of the more recent, this one and that are two of the more recent examples that
throat.
we've had. There are similarities between any situation for a manhunt like this. So we try to learn something from each of those.
That's a really good point. Hometown Cooter, I want to say hello. Hometown Cooter is my girl. She said, who's to say he's not calling in and leaving a tip so he has time to go somewhere else? That's a really good point. Carlin, right? Carved. I'm just so bothered. I hate when they mess with kids in the name of money. They opened up Chad's Ford School. We all know why. We all know why, because they get state funding per day. That's why they take roll call, because they really don't give a shit if your kid's there or not. They just want to be able to mark off that roster, send it into the state, and get their state funding. So they had to carve out the school. Let's listen to that again. And then we're going to do a poll, because I always find one little thing that just grates my nerves, and I just can't let it go.
We have a number of federal partners here with us that I've talked about previously. All of the assets of all of our agencies are brought to bear.
If North Creek Road is the eastern perimeter, how did you decide to remove Chatsford Elementary School from the search area?
We carved it out by putting additional officers around there. We cleared that property and then put officers around it so that we could carve that piece out.
The property at the school?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Colonel, as you know, another prisoner escaped earlier this year from Warren County.
Yes.
And was found some days later hiding out in the woods. So it seems like there's sort of a parallel to be drawn here between the two different types of manhunts. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on how that situation compared to the search now, and if there are sort of
Marie.
between the two that explains challenge that you're experiencing.
Marie says he can't.
You know, and those are two of the more recent.
He
This
can't.
one and that are two of the more
He
recent.
doesn't speak any English. Well, he speaks very little, they said. Very little English. I want to hear that guy own this press conference at the very end. That was another good part of it, where the guy was like, what do you think about people saying he's winning? And the dude was like, he's going to prison. I don't think he's winning. He should be going back to Brazil. That's where he should be going. In my humble opinion, of course. I'm trying to get this to load again. This is just unreal. I mean, it just doesn't get any dumber than this. And I hate saying that because I love law enforcement. But damn, man. And it's like, why is no one taking the reins? Why is no one being the alpha here? Why is no one taking the reins on this?
Sense of where he's going now, and
When it was in that vicinity, I'm not prepared to discuss it any
There was a
further.
report that there was a train stopped and searched in the Route 1 area. Don't you think that?
There was a train that was stopped there.
Pumpkin.
The railroads have been cooperative with us for the most part. Well, what they've been doing is stopping at their normal stop.
Well, I bet you that Ruby Frankie would have sent her kids to that school. Oh, it's carved out. Get in the car, kids. Now. Yes, we're going to be covering Ruby Frankie as well. Oh, I'm infuriated.
And we can utilize.
I hate when people mess with kids.
Who he may be trying to get to, that's one thing I've heard, but I can't, that's speculation. But does he have relatives in Maryland? Does he have relatives near here? Who he's been
Terrifying that he has relatives here.
We have spoken to relatives, and I
He's heading south, but you couldn't elaborate on.
Is this the one?
wouldn't be able to tell you that at this point.
Have you spoken to them? Have you tried to get cooperation from them?
We have spoken to relatives, and I can't go any further than that.
Yesterday you said something about, you still believe he's heading south, but you couldn't elaborate on that. Can you go further today?
No.
I don't know.
Okay.
Roto calls
All
him
right.
Pawpaw.
Again, thank you very much
Pawpaw.
for your help in getting this word out, keeping the public informed. Not to do it, I can't prevent.
It's 8 days, he's up against hundreds of your people, you've got technology, he's got barely nothing to eat, and you can't catch him. He's winning so far, not you.
Well, we've chased people for a lot longer than this.
I don't know if I'd boast about that, Chief or Sheriff.
When it was in that vicinity,
This is the greatest part right here.
Was
The biggest takeaway right here is this reporter.
Those who say that he's winning right now. Lieutenant Colonel, what would you say to those who say that he's winning right now?
risk of, depending on what action they take, getting themselves in trouble.
Just to confirm that, so the most recent sighting, you said was at Longwood Gardens, but it's not Longwood Gardens.
No, I said it was in the vicinity. It was near Longwood Gardens.
Why would he go to a school? I don't know. Why would he drag his ex-girlfriend out her house by her hair, stab her 38 times in front of her children? Why would he do that? Who knows?
The vicinity of the property, that's not the primary Longwood Gardens property?
Yes.
Additional that's in the search area?
Yes, sir.
Is it Longwood Gardens property or near Longwood Gardens?
I don't know, sir. I wasn't out there personally on that one. It was in that vicinity. I just know where the report was. It was very close to where the camera was, which was on Longwood Gardens
Lieutenant
property.
Colonel, what would you say to those who say that he's winning right now? It's 8 days, he's up against hundreds of your people, you've got technology, he's got barely nothing to eat, and you can't catch him. He's winning so far, not you.
Well, we've chased people for a lot longer than this and ultimately brought them to justice. As I've said before, we're not going anywhere. We will eventually capture him, and when we do, he's going to prison. I don't consider that winning.
There were some neighbors near the area where he was spotted by the creek who were concerned that bloodhounds weren't being used and that the scent may have been anyway lost in the creek itself. Are bloodhounds part of what you're using to try to track him?
I don't have bloodhounds at this particular scene, but I've got other tracking dogs that we have confidence in and I'm told can perform in a very similar manner. And by the way, we have them from a number of agencies as well.
Just to clarify, so the heat isn't impacting any of the tech that you're using to search for him day and night?
Correct.
Is there any reason, I asked this yesterday, I asked the same question, is there any reason to believe he's getting or gotten help from anyone outside of jail?
It's something that I am always concerned about, but I'm not prepared to discuss that in any further detail at this point.
What do you guys think of that? Do you guys think that he's getting help from someone? Because that surely did not sound very promising that he's not. It sounds to me like he's been in and out of places they've gotten. The news is the one that's saying, we've got people telling us that they're reporting to you that in their home, things are moved around, things are missing. And that should be one big reason why no schools are open in that vicinity. But you guys, they still carved out a piece of this perimeter for elementary school children. To me, this is a bigger problem too. In the grand scheme of things, think about it. It's been 8 days. They can't find this guy who drug his ex out by her hair and stabbed her 38 times. They can't find him. They have a radius and they carve part of that radius out for an elementary school. Have we not learned anything from all of these school shootings, all of these horrific things that are happening to our children in schools? But we're going to carve out a section of a manhunt for a double murder suspect. He could do anything. He could do anything in the office. I mean, schools are closed at night, right? Not necessarily someone in there. We're talking about Chad's Ford. It's a very small community. Do they even have cameras on the school? Do they even have cameras on that school? Yeah, he didn't say no. He didn't say no. We do not believe that any of our citizens of Pennsylvania would help him. I honestly don't think that I think they know he's where he is. Not exactly, but I'm not even exactly sure I believe he's in this vicinity. I feel like they could easily set this up. I mean, if you watch Nick the Hat drive through those checkpoints, there's no sense of urgency. It's like, hey, dude, what's up? Like, they're not even checking, trunks. Right, convicted, Ohana. Thank you for correcting that. Carved out or not, they shouldn't be in the school. Shame on them. Shame on them. If I was a parent there, I'd be infuriated. I would not take my kid and I would complain. And I'm not a big Karen with that.
You know what I have to say to A.N.C. Taylor, the defense lawyer? Bring it on, woman.
But if people aren't safe going to a fucking botanical garden for entertainment, then our children should not be in a school in that same perimeter. They have police at every corner of the property and on school grounds. Well, they've had police at the corner of all this perimeter as well, and he slipped through their perimeter. So you know what? Don't take chances with our kids. Get the fuck on out of here with that. It's nuts. He slipped through their perimeter. So what do? They carve out part of the perimeter and say it's safe. No. No, absolutely not. Idiots, in my opinion.
Why are people such idiots?
If I can't go stroll at the botanical gardens, my kid shouldn't be in that fucking elementary school, period. Period, period, end of story. So anyways, I am going to conclude on that. This is Carlin, it's so different than the laundry case because we had updates. We could see things going on. We had helicopter coverage. We had footage to watch. There's no footage to watch. You're watching a perimeter that may not even be a real perimeter. It may be just, like someone said, a protocol perimeter. We have no idea. But all I know is that irritates the piss out of me that they set up an elementary school. But maybe they know it's safe. I don't know. It still is messed up. We just had, and it's funny that you guys say that. Welcome Danelo, the kindergartner. Before we end, let me share a story with you guys. This happened right by me. Okay? Hang on. You're going to be mind blown. So, I mean, literally, you're going to be mind blown. Okay, let's get this up here. I think YouTube is having some glitches too, guys. I've noticed a lot of you guys aren't getting notifications. I also did get some studio notifications that some things in the YouTube studio weren't working. So Russia has said they hate us. They want to attack us. Maybe we're getting Russia again. I don't know. But this is what happened in my neck of the woods. Overnight in Pinellas Park, Florida. This ought to be a good, fun story to go over real quick. Let me get rid of the chat, guys. Okay, this dude here, 31-year-old man. He's 31. He pretended to be a high school student to have a relationship with a 16-year-old. When someone said, are they checking for facial hair? What? I object to this.
What?
So listen to this. Authorities say, a 31-year-old man is facing serious charges after pretending to be 16 and engaging, she was 14. Pretending to be 16 and engaging in an online relationship with a 14-year-old girl in 2020. Authorities say the case culminated with 3 sexual encounters that occurred 3 years later in South Florida. According to Miami-Dade Police, Michael Justin Ortiz, a resident of Pinellas Park, is facing allegations of unlawful sexual activity with a minor. Investigators claim that Ortiz went to great lengths to maintain his deception, even name-dropping teachers at Miami Northwestern Senior High School, where he posed as the girl's classmate. However, Ortiz always had excuses for why the two couldn't meet at the school. Their initial connection was established on a social media platform, and their relationship progressed through continuous communication via text, FaceTime, and other digital means. The two agreed to be boyfriend and girlfriend. She's 14, around March or April, and discussed buying a house and sharing expenses. Ortiz even brought the girl a promise ring. In June, Ortiz visited the girl's aunt's house in Kendall and instructed her to meet him discreetly across the street to avoid being seen by her aunt. Upon seeing Ortiz, who turned 31 by then, the girl confronted him about his age, which led to a heated exchange where Ortiz insisted he was only 20, despite appearing older. Their encounters involved trips to various locations, including a movie theater at the Falls Shopping Mall, the Miami Seaquarium, and the South Beach Theater on Lincoln Road. Ortiz allegedly pressured the girl into having sexual encounters during these outings. Suspicion about Ortiz's true age arose when the girl's mother discovered a photograph of him with her daughter. The teen initially claimed Ortiz was 18 to avoid trouble, but later researched his background and realized he was 31. Disturbed by his real age, the teenager contacted the authorities. During a phone call on August 8th, Ortiz reportedly admitted to the relationship. Currently, Ortiz is being held on a $500,000 bond in the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center. So this guy here pretended to be 16 so he could SA a 14-year-old. And it wasn't until her mom saw his picture that anything was done. So thank God, okay, thank God that he had her meet him across the street and he didn't pick her up and take her somewhere and then the girl confront him about his age and then he kill her. At least she was able to get... I mean, she may not have gotten away, guys. This is how it happens. Come meet me. They lie. They lie. They send fake pictures. Guys, talk to your kids. Talk to those kids. Tell them what people are capable of. Pound it in their heads. Show them these stories. No, he lied and said he went to her school. He told her he was a student and that he was 16. But he always had excuses why they couldn't see each other at school. And then he told her to meet him across the street from her house. And when she went out there, she was like, "What?" She's like, "You aren't 16." And that was when it all went downhill. Michael Justin Ortiz, Ortiz, Ortiz. Michael Justin Ortiz. Jammers, we were a little worried about you. Good to see yous. Let's look him up. What's his name again? Michael. We're going to go in a J hole too. Oh, hold up. Can you guys see that? Let's make the J. I'm not going to say that. Let's make the J hole bigger. Let's get in a J hole. Let's Google this guy and see if we can find anything. We probably can't, but he did this in 2020. And he was just arrested near me in Pinellas Park. So this was in Miami. He did this, but he moved over here by me. Like, go away, dude. Pinellas Park. I don't know why that came up. Okay, is this him? Is it the same guy? Michael Ortiz? Justin? No, that's Justin. I don't see nothing on him, really. I bet if I put Miami, there's going to be a lot of people with that name. Look at you. Got to love the Daily Star. Look at the headline. This is for you, Potato, and all of the UK people so you can understand. Balding bloke, 31, with bushy beard, posed as school student to have sex with teen girl. Balding, bearded, Michael Justin Ortiz, 31, reportedly pretended to be a high school student in order to sleep with a teen girl in his car, including name-dropping her teachers. There's the bloke. And they're saying Tampa Bay, Florida, 2020. Let's see if there's anything else. They chatted on social media for years. After years of chatting, the pair still not met in person. I wonder how he gave her the ring then. So they started talking when she was 14 and they didn't meet until she was 17. Is he in prison now? Yes, they got him. On one occasion, it says they went to the cinema where Ortiz tripped her and having sex in the backseat of his car after the film. So good for her mom. Her mom Googled him and found out he was no young man. And that was when it all went to hell. So, dumb criminal of the week. Hello, Shamrock. Stop, Jammers. That's what Potato always tells me. She says I sound Indian and not English. And I really thought I had it going on this time. Oh, I guess I'll have to try harder next time. Bloke. What is it? Bloke. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to be doing 3 p.m. tomorrow. Make sure you check out the video I dropped really early this morning. I had to get it off of my chest. It's all about the genetic genealogy, the IgG, the genetic genealogy of Brian Christopher Kohberger.
Brian Kohberger.
So check that out. We're going to talk about it tomorrow.
Is dancing tonight.
Yeah, this guy kind of gives me the creeps. I need to get him off my screen. Get this balding bloke out of here. All right. Thanks, you guys. Again, let's run our credits and then dance this motherfucker out. Please don't go.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems.
I flashed and said, wow, pretty far out. I thought it was pretty far out.
Yeah, that's loud.
So there's a lot of butt joints that we have to cover, and I'm like, Dudley, let's do butt joints together because I don't want to have to do them all by myself.
Just based on my observations, her hair was very greasy.
You're making plans to get to France, but don't want to face the fact that I ain't got time, I ain't got time for that. Staying up late, sleeping all day, dreaming about Cadillacs. Buying new shoes, hanging by the pool, sipping on Coke and Jack.
I don't want Jennifer or two Jennifers.
Thanks so much, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.